Hey guys, welcome back to the farm. Well, this is a long overdue, not video, but a long overdue addition to the farm. I have been wanting to do this for some time. I just haven't had the funds because I've been directing the funds to other places, but finally decided to go ahead and get this part done because it has been such a pain in the butt to drive the horses. You see the shop way over there. That's where I keep all of my gear and my wagons and everything. So I got to bring everything from over there to over here anytime I want to drive. And you've seen in videos where I've had the harnesses, on the inside of the stalls right there and on the fences out here. But now I've got a tack room. And here it is. It's 10 foot by 20 foot. It's called a utility style because it's just a single pitch roof. You can see how it's just the single pitch from right here. And it matches the barn exactly. You're used to seeing the barn from this angle. Coming in, going past the wash rack, and then into the barn where Max and Titus go into their stalls, and then Jean and Grace's stalls are down here. But I've got the tack room, or really a tack building, on the other side. I wanted him to get it as close to the building as he could where I could still get through, but the horses couldn't get through, and where the roofs kind of overlap each other so there's no rain falling down in the crack right there. But the electrical meter can still be serviced. And coming around to the back, it's completely even with the back of the barn. Originally, my barn was supposed to have gray trim on the corners like the tack room does. But when they got out here, they didn't have it. It just had the gray trim up on the top. I didn't complain about it too much, but I had this done the way that I wanted it done originally. But it fits perfectly right here, like it was custom made for it. So what I've done here is I made a horse-safe ramp. This is cypress mulch. And the reason I did this was because I could have built steps and I could have built a ramp. But the problem with the ramp or steps is that if the horses are over here in the barnyard, they get on that, they could cut their legs open or, scrape themselves or, something like that. They could get on top of it, it could break. It's just kind of dangerous. So by having a cypress ramp, it's completely safe. It's highly compactable. It stays in place. It poured down rain last night and none of it moved. It's highly compactable, like I said, and it's extremely slow to rot. You can see I still need to fill in the sides over here and square it up a little bit more, but that's $30 worth of mulch right there. And I've got a buddy that has had real good luck making cypress ramps at his place, and they last for years and years and years, and he just buys a bag and spruces them up every few years. If you were to just put wood mulch out there, you'd be replacing it every year. Next thing I did is I didn't build them, but I put metal grates on the window. They're black powder coated, and I put them in metal frames so that the horses don't stick their heads through the window. And if the windows were open like they are right now, they don't stick their heads through the screen. So I just need to touch up the yellow screws with some black fingernail polish. But that's just a safety to keep the horses from sticking their heads through the window and getting a laceration on their nose. I could run electrical out here very easily. I could just go from right there down to there and into the building, but I really don't need electric. The only thing I really need is a vent fan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a gable vent right there in that corner. like this one on the bathhouse. And then I'm gonna put a solar powered attic fan behind it to keep the humidity and the heat out of there. And it'll draw, when the windows are open, it'll draw air through. The fan I'm gonna get moves about 1,300 feet a minute, and it's made for like 2,200 square feet, and that's, you know, just a couple hundred square feet. So now everything, as I said, will be co-located over here, right next to the barn, right next to the stalls, and it's gonna be so easy just to go back and forth versus 800 feet away to the shop and bring stuff. The problem is when you're driving, you get over there, you grab what you think you need, come back over here, and when you're right in the middle of harnessing, you reach for something and you realize that you didn't bring it. So now you gotta stop what you're doing, leave the horses here half harnessed, and then go back over to the shop, get the part of the harness that you forgot, and then come back. And then the same thing happens again. You realize you forgot something else, and it's just back and forth, and it's just an exercise in frustration. So yesterday I got everything moved over here, and before we go in and take the final tour, I want to give you an update on the girls. So as you know from last week's video, Jean was bred a week ago Monday. She only got bred one time. She wouldn't stand for the stallion. She got bred on Monday morning, and on Wednesday evening she was already out and she wouldn't stand for the stallion again. So hopefully she took on that first time. The vet is going to come on Monday, which will be 2 weeks. She'll be in that 14 to 16 day window when the vet needs to come out and check, verify pregnancy, and verify that there's no twins. We definitely do not want twins because it can be detrimental on either the twins are gonna die or the mare's gonna die, one or the other. It typically turns out, it very rarely rather, turns out good for one party or the other. So you always want to verify that there's no twins. I'm not sure if she's coming on Monday or Tuesday. I tried to nail the breeder down and get the breeder to tell me when she was coming so I could get down there and do a video and be there to hear what she said. But the way that I kind of take it is this vet is a one show operation. I'm used to working with a major clinic. They got 5 equine vets. All the vets have got Chevy Suburbans that they take home, that they keep all their medical equipment in. They come in every evening, download their computers, and then they upload any medical supplies that they use during the day. They make appointments. They're very punctual. They've got secretaries and office managers, and that's just on the equine side. And then on the small animal, the dog and cat side, I think they got 5 more vets over there. They can do everything that the University of Georgia can do with the exception of colic surgery. And the only reason they don't do that is because they don't have 24-hour manning and staffing, which when you have a colicked animal, they need 24-hour care. But any other surgery they can do. That's what I'm used to dealing with. I think what's going on down there in small town Georgia is she's a one-person show. I don't know if she has an office or not. She seems to be on the road quite a bit. But kind of the gist that I got from him is I really never know when she's coming because I think they're really good friends, and she just kind of like squeezes him in instead of scheduling him an appointment. And she just kind of drops him a text or a phone call and says, hey, I'm on my way. I'll be there in 45 minutes. And that's not going to be enough time to get down there. So I kind of don't think I'm going to be there when they ultrasound, which is a shame because I would really like to be. Grace was bred Monday. The Monday we just had, the day after Easter, she finally came into heat. According to the breeder, Grace wasn't ready. She was just starting to come in, and he was trying to tease her with the stallion, and the stallion could sense that she was close enough for him anyway, so he dropped, and he aggressively jumped up on Grace's back, and Grace wasn't ready for him, so he said Grace let him have it with both hind feet right square in the chest. But after 3 attempts, she finally stood, and they got a successful breeding in on Monday night. And then last night, he teased her again, and she willingly stood for the stallion. So we got a successful breeding in on her last night, which was Wednesday night. So that means the vet will come out this Monday coming up to check on Jean, and then she'll come out in 2 Mondays or 2 Wednesdays, 2 weeks from now, to check Grace out. And hopefully they will both have conceived. But that's just the first hurdle. You know, then we've got it's an 11-month and a few days of gestation, and there's just a lot that can go on. There's a lot of bridges you got to cross. It's not as easy as just saying you're pregnant and being done with it. So there's a lot more that goes into it, a lot of bridges that have to be crossed. So this is the first bridge. We got to verify that they're pregnant. So we'll find out on Jean on Monday, and then Grace in 2 weeks. Let's go check out the tack room. So I have brought everything over here with the exception of the wagons, but everything else is over here. These are the harness racks that I built inside. I just have Jean's up here right now just to show you what it's going to look like. I had a buddy make these name tags for me on his laser machine. It turned out real good. And then this is just some 2x4s that I threw together. And then mounted the hooks that I got from Bowman's Harness up in Ohio to hang their collars and their lines on. I've got some bridle hangers coming, but right now I've just got a screw screwed in for representation to show you what it looks like. But I'll bring you back in just a minute when I get everybody's gear in here. But that's going to work out real good. So I've got a box with just a few miscellaneous things in it that I don't really use down there. And then some old horseshoes. Those were Jules' old horseshoes, some feed buckets, their lines. I was going to put their lines over here on the wall, but it works better on the shelf. Some farrier gear, their harnesses, or I'm sorry, their halters from different age group halters, and then just some medical supplies and trimmers, and then just miscellaneous stuff. This is an old britchin, mule britchin that I need to leather up and sell, brand new, never been used. But then I've just got a few hangers on the wall for, you know, one-off items. And then my farrier stand, and then this is what it looks like with all their gear in here. Over here on this side, I've got some saddle racks. I've got what oats I've got left and horseshoes, and then just a muck bucket. But as you can see, I've still got tons of room in here, and I can go up. I can go all on these walls. I've just got tons of room to expand, so not worried about running out of space because pretty much everything I need is already in here. Double doors if I need to bring a bigger item in. And that attic ventilator fan will go right up there in that corner. And I'll put the solar panel right up there because south is that way. So I need the solar panels picking up on that east to west track. They put this metal track down on the leading edge going in so you don't chip it up as you're going in and out over the years. So that was a nice feature. The Dirty Boys are doing real good. It poured down rain last night, and I don't know what Max does. Max must just lay down and roll like a pig in the mud. Titus, I think, stays on his feet a lot longer and doesn't lay down as much as Max. Max is always dirty. His tail, when they cut it, they basically shaved his nub. And so his hair is growing. It's growing longer on the underside, but the outer is growing, it's just growing slow. But hopefully next year he'll have a pretty decent tail. I will not keep their tails trimmed. I'm going to grow them as long as I can so that they've got a fly swatter. Mac's tail, on the other hand, they did not shave it. They just cut it at the base of the nub and left all of the hair one length. Again, these guys came from two different breeders, two different farms, and they're not related, but they are both registered. And they are really gonna be a good looking team. Both blonde. And I picked these guys out on the internet, and the reason I picked them out is because they were the only two blonde ones on there with blonde manes. Everybody else was chestnut, and I just prefer the blondes over the chestnuts. I just think they're a lot prettier. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it for this week. I'm super excited to have this. It's gonna be a big game changer out here and making my life a lot easier out here, so I'm not having to hump that gear back and forth all the time. Just got to get that attic fan installed, and that'll be complete, finished, and then I can focus on the bathhouse and get that revealed to you guys. In next week's video, fingers crossed, I'm gonna have some positive news on Jean's pregnancy. But all I can do is hope and pray. There's a possibility she didn't get pregnant. She only got bred one time. But it's a good sign that she didn't stand for the stallion. So maybe she knew that she had conceived on that first time. I don't know. We'll see. He was teasing her every day for about 4 days before she stood for him that day. So I don't think he missed it. I'm pretty sure he got it. So we'll see. Hopefully positive news next week. As always, remember who you are. Be kind to those around you. Stand up for what you believe in.